The Subnautica situation is wild. Okay?
So, what in tarnation just happened? Hello everybody, this is Bacon, a very impromptu video. Obviously this one wasn't planned, but some things have gone down in the Subnautica space in the
What?
last couple of days / hours that I most definitely want to update you guys on because they are fairly major and they could possibly affect the future of Subnautica 2 and Unknown Worlds
Okay.
Entertainment. So the long and short of this is that about 1.5 days ago at the time of recording, Craftton has announced that they are replacing the leadership of Unknown Worlds Entertainment with somebody else who will be taking that position effective immediately. But let's
Ooh, what was the reason for that? Did the newest Subnautica? Newest. But did the newest game released under Soul or something like that? The Antarctica stuff was bad and people didn't really like it that much and it didn't sell that well. But I mean, was it actually is it actually that bad? Is Subnautica in danger?
backtrack. Who is Craftton? Who's taking over? What is happening? Okay, so Craftton is a major publishing company, most well known for PUBG, who in 2021 acquired Unknown Worlds Entertainment, the development studio behind Subnautica. Now, when I spoke to one of the developers, Obraxis, about it back then, he said that it was actually a positive change. It gave them more resources to kind of execute their vision, and Craftton
You get bought out by someone. Yeah, obviously you're not gonna say, "Oh, the people who bought us are shit. I hate them." That's a short way to get fired.
wouldn't be directly involved in development anyways, so they could kind of still do their own thing with the original team, and everything seemed great. Well, on the 2nd of July, Craftton has announced, and I quote, "The global video game holding company and publisher announced a leadership change at its creative studio. Steve," and I apologize, I'm gonna butcher this, "Papotsis, a gaming industry veteran, has been appointed CEO of Unknown Worlds, where he will oversee the studio's overall management and creative direction." So who exactly did he replace? Well, this is the big one. Not
Oh,
one
boy.
person, not two, but three. Charlie Cleveland, the original co-founder and director of Unknown Worlds Entertainment, Max
Oh, that is never good. Oh, these things are never good. Because keep in mind, okay? Listen, this is the fundamental, always 100% true reason why any company ever buys another company. And that is the reason that company thinks whatever the other company is doing, they're not doing it to its fullest extent. So, expect a lot of things. Expect things to change pretty heavily probably in the next 2 years for any Subnautica whatever fan things that you like. Especially when the new company just instantaneously yeetus deletus fetus on the C-suite. It never bodes well.
McGuire, the other co-founder of Unknown Worlds Entertainment, and Ted Gill, the company president of Unknown Worlds Entertainment. So in a single sweep, that entire leadership is now gone. Now, the press release continues to say that while Craftton sought to keep the co-founders and original creators on board, they have basically decided to depart and continue with their own projects. So that is pretty.
So, there are honestly two options here. Typically, one is more true than the other. One, the founders got offered the bag and they were like, I can just take the bag and start over again, which does happen. And that's kind of not necessarily a bad thing. Because typically people only do that when they think, ah, yeah, I'm done with this. I might as well take the bag and start over and do things all over again. That's a good option. Another one is, oh, well, they bought us and now they're doing all of these things that we vehemently hate. That's the most likely one typically.
Freaking wild. Let's talk a little bit about Steve, who will be taking over here. Now, this guy is definitely not an industry novice. According to his IMDb page, he was the senior producer on Dead Space, the executive producer on Dead Space 2, a producer on Dead Space 3, and perhaps most well known, he was the chief development officer for the Kalisto Protocol. Now look.
Oh, damn! That's bad.
We can debate how successful those games were
Listen, there's no reason to debate. We know it's a fucking disaster.
individually, and that's fine. But the bottom line here is Steve definitely knows what he is doing, at least in the sense that he has a ton of industry experience. So this news dropped, and I mean, I don't have to tell you that the Discord and Reddit essentially went haywire. There was disarray everywhere, people panicking, essentially saying, well, that's it, Subnautica 2, I guess it's over. It's done, it's GG's. The entire subreddit essentially...
Oh, the classic Bethesda joke. Okay? This meme originates from Bethesda. The mini-map, the achievement, the thingamajig, the objective, the everything. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Fingerless glove meter, holy. Semen remaining. Oh, man, bruh. Oh, these are classics.
GG's. The entire subreddit essentially went into full panic mode. I posted about it on Twitter, and people in the replies were essentially given up, saying that that's it, they're no longer wishlisting Subnautica 2. And I mean, it's not even a complete...
Yep, I mean, Subnautica 2 is fucked. This is... Okay, there's a 1 in 10 chance that this is not a bad thing. But there's a 9 in 10 chance this is bad, so, you know. I don't know about you, but percentiles kind of typically work in the favor of the bigger percentile.
Completely unreasonable position to take. Imagine that they are removing a big part of that, original vision that created that game that we all love all those years ago. Obviously, many major gaming news platforms immediately took this story and ran with it, crafting all kinds of theories as to what exactly happened. Some people in the subreddit were saying that perhaps it was some disagreements over the direction of the game, and that maybe the entire...
Well, that's probably not good if you're a fan of how the game is currently.
Trio left out of basically solidarity. Some others were looking at one particular line from the press release, which says, quote, "We owe our players nothing less than the best possible game as soon as possible," and were essentially theorizing that maybe Subnautica 2 was not being developed as soon or as quickly as Craftton would have wanted. And so they brought somebody on board who might...
That kind of sounds like Cope, not gonna lie.
...be able to push it out the door faster, which was also kind of concerning, since the Kalisto Protocol was known for some pretty bad crunch. So there's...
I mean, I don't care about crunch, I'm not gonna lie, but the Kalisto Protocol was known for being shit, okay? That's what it was known for.
Pretty bad crunch, so there's a lot of noise going around and a lot of people are panicking. Well, only a few hours ago, at the time of recording this, Unknown Worlds has published an official letter to our community to essentially answer some of these growing concerns. Now, this post is fairly long, but I'm gonna sum up kind of the most important points for you here. One, Steve has already began to kind of integrate into the team, so he's learning about what they do day to day, trying to understand exactly what the game is about, and exactly what he will need to do to get the game out the door. As far as they say, the direction of the game will not be changing. It is still single player first with some optional co-op elements. It will...
Yeah, single player first, but how about that $100 mount? It's in we decided to collab with Diablo 4. You can get to ride Diablo through your adventures in the sea. Is this game about then the sea? That's gonna be exciting.
Will still be crafted with a high level of detail and, quote, "no subscriptions, no loot boxes, no battle pass, and no microtransactions."
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. If this is your plan, that there's no fucking reason to ever buy a company. This is a lie. Because keep in mind, there is literally not a single law in the world that prevents them from lying here. They can't. And there's nothing you can do about it. They're just trying to, wipe away the flames. Or maybe the loot boxes are just going to be called surprise game mechanics. Yeah. That's not a loot box, that's a surprise game mechanic. Oh, Subnautica 2 is so dead.
They are still wanting to listen to the community and get a lot of feedback from the players. However, I will also point that they say, quote, "an update to our schedule and more information, including the early access timeline, will be coming soon." So where exactly does this leave us? Well, I think it is a very valid concern for anybody thinking that a leadership change this close to release, even into early access, is definitely concerning and could spell some problems for the game. I don't blame you. Let's be honest, the gaming industry lately has not been the most stable nor the most reliable of industries to look at. So
That is an understatement of a decade.
Seeing a change like this, especially with the massive layoffs which are happening as we speak, with Microsoft letting thousands of developers go, it is perfectly reasonable to be
Based
concerned about the future.
Microsoft.
That said, I might have some things that might make you feel at least a little bit calmer. First, and I want to shout out Pebble 203, one of the mods from the Subnautica Discord, who essentially posted a lot of stuff kind of explaining the situation. And to sum it up, basically, the trio that we're talking about, the leadership, wasn't really that involved with Subnautica 2 anyways. They were mostly doing, business studio stuff, but were not, let's say, directly developing the game. Unknown Worlds even elaborated on this in
That sounds stupid. They had oversight.
their letter, where they're clearly clarifying that the core development team, the people who are actually building the game day to day, are the same. So nothing is changing there. And hopefully, since the game has already been quite far down development, I mean, it is supposed to be coming into early access this year, I would not expect that early access will undergo massive changes under this new leadership, and so chances are, whatever that original vision is, will be what we will get, at least for early access. Now, what will happen after that is anybody's guess. I would not necessarily be giving up just yet. I am glad to see that they are still committed to the no subscriptions, no battle pass, no microtransactions model. I like that they are still pushing single player first with optional co-op. I think that is all great. However, given this massive change, I personally would not be surprised if early access got pushed back. Pebble said that the game is still coming out this year. Whether that will be the
Also, I just wanted to mention there is no reason to, by the way, put the microtransactions in the early access game. There's no point in that. So the early access could actually be fine. Again, it literally there is zero financial investment into buying a company just to keep it the same. There's no point in that. Unless you're expecting Subnautica 2 to actually shatter the world and sell literally 100 million copies, I mean, that's not happening.
case remains to be seen. Look, I will say, if you're concerned about the game, I completely get it. I think it is a valid fear, especially given the state of the industry and what's been happening with many other franchises. On that same note, however, I remain cautiously optimistic. I love the Subnautica franchise, and I love the team that built it. I believe that they will continue to deliver incredible work day to day, and they will still try to give us the best game they possibly can. For early access,
Well, we're gonna have to honestly see about that one, not gonna lie. Anyway, the last beacon. 10 out of 10. Bye.